What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily horoscope for Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. Brian here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Hope you're all doing well. I appreciate you for being here. Man, we're closing out this balsamic, dark moon here today, and then at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern in the United States, we're getting that new moon tonight at 23 degrees with Pluto. So this is a wild day. Saturn, of course, is starting to square Uranus. It's going to square Mars. Mars is going to square that Saturn exactly today. That Venus is working on the trine over to Uranus, and Uranus is stationed ready to come direct on the 14th. So it's a big day in the astrology. We did have Mercury just come off the square to Uranus. Jupiter it's ratcheting up real tight with Jupiter square Uranus. So this is one of those days where we're going into completely new waters. I think this is a very transformative day, and I think we're closing a lot of things out in the world and in our own personal lives. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. That moon is going to be in Capricorn, finishing up the dark moon phase for most of the day during the daylight, and it is going to sextile over to Neptune. So, it's sensitive, but I think we're getting like major insights today on like what's going down. And I think that there could be some clarity, or there could be more fog. So it's one of those days where you really have to tune in to like your own truth and the what's coming in to your life and what's making the most sense when it comes to your goals, when it comes to the structure of the life that you want to live for yourself, and what's working and what doesn't work. And I think today it can feel like we have to fix so many things, but like I'm telling you, with Mars square Saturn, it's going to be intense today. Today's as intense as it gets today, and coming into the early part of tomorrow with this Mars square Saturn. So there can be major blocks up, major frustrations, coming in. And I think we have to really look at what we value. And we have Venus, which does rule our values, coming off the trine to Mars, trining Uranus, stationed. So we really have to look at what is of value in our lives today and what makes us feel good. And I think get in tune with the senses, the sensatory things, because in a sense, with this new moon tonight, really right on Pluto at 24 degrees, it's just over a degree away from exact. So this is, for one, it's closing out the last lunar cycle, which was an eclipse. It was the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. So, man, it's really bringing a lot. I think it's illuminating a lot, and especially with Uranus in the mix so much, with the squares to all that, Jupiter and Mercury in Aquarius. Like, we're seeing a new future unfold. We're seeing our beliefs, but are they like really our beliefs that we actually have like a value over? And I think that's the question. And I think when it comes down to like where we put our energy and our actions, it's very interesting, because I think that we have to really look at what's new and exciting, and we can't like hold on to old, outdated, ways of looking at the world, or looking at our beliefs, or religion comes to mind even with Jupiter. So weird things can happen on like religious fronts. I've been seeing a bunch of weird news come out about like the Pope and the Vatican, and like I don't know how much truth there is to it yet, but like that's the thing, is we're bound to see some crazy stuff take place in our reality. And when it comes to that lunar eclipse, or that solar eclipse last month at the last new moon, that was with the South Node in Sagittarius. Like, I think beliefs went kind of rampant over the last month, and now it's like, are these really the beliefs we want to build the structures of our life around? And I think that this is where we're going to see some of the biggest transformation and regeneration of when it comes to our society, of like governments, because of Capricorn. Like we're getting major restructuring, and that's what Pluto does. Is it absolutely transforms and regenerates and brings major investigation into like the deeper aspects of what's really going on. So I would not be surprised if we see some interesting stuff come out today and tomorrow regarding the governments, regarding politics, just overall structures of our world. And you know what I think is beautiful about this aspect is the fact that, I mean, for one, it is square Eris. And so it's likely to be an intense, chaotic day in the world. And maybe even in the evening, we might see some wild stuff pop off around this new moon. But I think we have to really look in our personal lives of like, what makes us feel good? Who are the people we're connecting with? And are we trying to fix things in our life that aren't fixable? And I think we need to, innovate and look for new ways to do a lot of different aspects of life when it comes to the bigger picture, when it comes to even our own worlds, our own environments. And, we do have that North Node still in Gemini, still at 19 degrees, still squaring Neptune, with Neptune square the nodes. This is one of those days where it's a heavy, this is one of the heaviest days in the astrology I've ever seen. And it's kind of hard to put it into perspective, because I think we're in this time this week where this is why, like today and tomorrow are where things are going to just get really weird. Aquarius, Uranian energy is weird. I think we can see a lot of rebellion energy. And, if you look at Mars within a 4-degree orb of Uranus, Uranus represents the people. Mars represents the warrior in the people. So I just think we're in this time over these next, this whole week really, where we're going to see a lot of people rebelling, a lot of people, fighting for what they value, fighting for their freedom, fighting for a lot of things. So it just definitely looks like when it comes to what's going on in the world, you're going to see a lot of chaotic energy, especially with Eris squaring this. This is like a snapshot of the next energy for the next month. So that's what I'm saying, is this next month even is going to look like probably the craziest transformation of the structures of the life and reality that we may have ever seen. And when it comes to values, it's going to be shaken up. Relationships can be shaken up. But I think we have to look for, like, where are the empowering relationships? Where are the relationships that vibe? What do we truly value? And what are the goals we truly value? I think, there's big questions. Like Pluto definitely wants to ask why, so it can get to the bottom of things. How are we going to get to the bottom of things for the rest of, for the next 28 days even? And especially today, it's and tonight, I guess more you could say, like tonight. So interesting times. And we do have Chiron now off the sextile to Jupiter, but it is going to start, Saturn's going to start applying the sextile to Saturn, and Jupiter just came off that. I think there's abundance when we're moving past the healing and we're moving into more free and open and new spaces. But Saturn's going to make us look at that one more time and be like, are you going to be responsible here and move into a new direction? So I think we're all moving into new directions. I think we're all, even Mercury coming off the square to Uranus, like that is electric. And our brain is electricity, right? It's always firing. So I think that we're just in a crazy time. So we'll see what happens this week. I think that we're going to see wild things come out within the government, especially in the government. Like politics are going to look really weird. But I think the more we can focus on our environment, the more we can really see beautiful aspects, the more we can, make the changes and transformations in our own life that, make the most sense, that feel like they're going to take us to where we want to go. But it's that kind of energy that if you don't have the values met in your environment, you're not doing the things and connecting with the people that make you feel like you're moving in the direction that you're being divinely guided, it's wild. So it's hard to, this is one of the harder horoscopes I've had to do, because There's so much uncertainty of what's going to go down, and I think everybody slightly has their own like belief of what they think's going to happen, and that is what will ultimately take you into the weirdest place. So, I mean, in a sense, we need to learn today in a big way maybe how to come back to our own centers, come back to our own happiness, our own truth. And this definitely goes for me as well. I'm not just saying like I have it all figured out. Like, we need to come back and look at things very objectively in our environment and, pay attention to what's going down as always. But try not to get lost, because today and tomorrow, and then even on Thursday with Uranus direct, like there's gonna feel like a big, I get like a power surge, like coming into play, like just like a breaker popping, because Uranus is very electric, and it's making all these hard squares to Jupiter and Saturn, and it'll be exact with Jupiter on Thursday. So, and Saturn's right behind it. So we're looking at like this reality getting shocked in a very weird way. And that's the thing about Taurus, is it's stable. It's supposed to be the most stable Earth sign, fixed Earth. And with Uranus there's no stability. So we're seeing major shifts. We're seeing Uranus igniting people, I think, to fight for the reality they want as well, to fight for Mars aspects, freedom, independence. I think we're in those times anyways, and I think that a lot of people don't feel like they're getting the freedom and independence that they deserve, and I tend to agree with that. I really do, with the way the world's shaping up. So by no means am I like pushing violence or chaos in any way. I want, more than anything, people to empower themselves, to not get lost in the crazy stories outside of themselves, but to create a beautiful story for themselves. We need to always, in a sense, be aware of what's going on. But this next month is transformative in ways that we've never seen before. So whatever happens, I mean, are we gonna, be on the side that's ready to innovate and go into a new direction, a weird, maybe crazy but awesome direction? Or are we going to hold on to energy that is shattered and like cut our hands on the glass? It's a day. So I wish you guys all the best. Let's see what the card has to say. It is the Page of Cups reversed. So yeah, I mean, I just think that when it comes to a lot of things in life, whether it's emotions, feelings, they're just going to be really all over the place. And, we might have to really, he's even got a bucket. It's got a brain in it. I think people are going to kind of feel like, because it's a zombie, right? He's got a little pail. He's on the beach. I think people are going to feel like they're picking their brains up out of a bucket today, because minds could be blown in some way or another. I just don't think that in any way, shape, or form today is going to be a normal day, and it could have our feelings, emotions, and even our mind in a wild, crazy place, feeling like we just, picked it up with a bucket off the ground. How can we, be curious enough to not lose our mind and to just more or less ask questions that make sense to us? And not, especially with Neptune square the nodes, not like get into a weird place with anxiety, not we don't want to lose our minds. And I think it's interesting that this card brought that up the most for me, is like we could lose our minds if we're too emotionally invested in all of the stories that are going on. And we need to invest in our own story, right? And what makes us feel the most comfortable in our own reality, our own life, with the people around us. And there's roadblocks up. And even when it comes to Mars square Saturn, like that's the warrior kind of going against the general in a sense. And it is a very strong general in Aquarius, and it's not the strongest of warriors, but it has Uranus backing it up. So it's like if you're ready to go in some crazy direction to bring your life more physical value, to bring more love into your life, I think we might have to do that in a crazy way today. So we'll see what happens. It's this is some wild astrology. And remember, this is like a kind of a snapshot of the next lunar cycle. So this next 28 days could have a lot of Plutonian aspects, a lot of death, rebirth, transformative, going deep into the truth. I think that maybe truth might actually come out, like the deep truth of what's going on in our world, or it might not, right? That's the flip side. I don't think anybody knows. But how can we be curious and not let our emotions just get the best of us and make us go crazy? So same goes for me. It's an intense day. We got this. I love you all very much. Let's see how it all plays out. Let's see. I think in a sense, Uranus is kind of like the god of the skies, the god of the heavens. Like, let's see what God has in store for us, because I think it's gonna be a show. What the show is, what's gonna be in the show, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be what people think it's gonna be. That's what Uranus would. We don't get access to that information, right? That's so. How can we go along with the show? How can we see what happens? I definitely have a feeling big things take place today. I have a feeling beliefs can be in a really weird place. Our minds can be in a weird place. Our emotions can be in a weird place. But if we are set on our environment, on what does actually bring us value and what feels good in our own lives, there is beauty today. And it is a new cycle. And I think most of the day's dark moon, and it's a moon squared Neptune. So I think this could be an emotional day. This can be an emotional roller coaster with whatever transpires. But try and ground. I would say with Venus and Mars in trine, and even Venus and Uranus, like, ground and let the excitement of the world play out and see if you can not get rattled by it. Maybe that's the test. Or maybe nothing transpires, and if we think too much that something's going to transpire, then we'll be upset if nothing transpires. That's the trip with this whole thing, is there's just so many different things going on out there. We have to be, I think, connected to ourselves and our values and our core in a very big way today. And that's at least how I'm going to go about today. I hope that you guys have the best day. I love you all very much. I will catch you for tomorrow's horoscope. Peace.